Welcome back, true believers and spectacular Spidey fans, to another episode of Spider-Man PS4 101. So even though E3 2018 is now over, after receiving lots of awesome new footage of Spider-Man PS4 ranging from the Raft mission of the E3 2018 showcase as well as the open world gameplay, there was something really interesting that happened yesterday on Insomniac's livestream. And in case you all missed it, Insomniac held a live stream yesterday showing off the Raft mission again as well as showing off more open world gameplay. And not only did they show off more free roaming footage, but they also answered more questions from fans. And the answers that they gave to these questions are really interesting. So as you can tell in this video, I'm going to be recapping and highlighting the most important parts from the Insomniac livestream. And if it seems like I missed anything important, make sure to let me know in the comments section down below. So the first important point that was brought up in the livestream is that Brian Intihar discussed about Rikers Island. And from what Brian was saying, not only does it seem like we're going to be able to do a mission in the Raft, but also Rikers Island as well. And I'm really excited to see what type of scenario Spidey is going to deal with at a place like Rikers. So next up on the list is a really important detail that was brought up by Ryan Smith, who is the game director of Spider-Man PS4, and he said that as you progress through the game, you will continue to level up Spider-Man. And as you continue to level up Spidey, this will also allow you to unlock access to unknown suits. And given what Ryan said, once you gain a certain level to unlock a certain suit, you have to then get all the crafting materials in order to create the suit. So it definitely seems like this crafting system for creating all the suits is very well detailed, and I can't wait to see how it is used in the final game. So the next point on the list is something that's very small but still very important, is that you do not manually reload the web shooters in the game. So while you are fighting enemies in combat and you use your web shooters, that actually recharges over time. But when you're actually using the gadgets like the web bomb and the web tripwire, you actually have to be more resourceful with those. And that definitely adds a more strategic element when it comes to fighting bad guys in the game. And specifically relating to web swinging, you have absolutely unlimited web fluid. So even though this is a small detail, I still like the amount of depth that they are putting into the web shooters. So next up is a point actually relating to the mods that you can add to your suits in the game. Not only does each suit come with its specific power like the web blossom, but you can also add up to 3 different modifications to each suit. And even though Insomniac didn't specify what these mods are, I'm assuming that it will be stuff like adding damage or adding speed to Spider-Man's combat or traversal. Still, I'm just really liking the amount of detail that Insomniac are putting within the suits in the game. And moving on to what I think is the most intriguing part of the livestream is actually a really small detail about Harry Osborn's mom.
So do you want to explain the research stations a little bit?
So research stations are run by Harry Osborn. Harry is Pete's best friend, and at the time the game starts, Harry's actually out of town in Europe, and he's left Pete a voicemail going, "Hey bud, basically, John, you know if I'm right about this.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm out of town, but I know you're a really smart guy. If you get a chance, just check into these for me, make sure they're running right. These research stations were something I picked up after my mom passed away, and it's really important to me that they're working right."
But yeah, the basic theme of all the research stations is they're science-based and environmentally based, environmentally themed, because that's what Harry's mom was really into, is saving the environment. So they all have kind of a different spin on stuff that can happen around the city.
So given what Brian and John said about Harry Osborn's mom, it really seems like that he's going to have a really fleshed out story in the game, even though he's not in the city at the time of the game's story. And I really like how much detail they're putting in with all these side missions for the game's narrative. Now following up on that is something that was teased by Brian Intihar himself in a really cool way.
And in terms of other abilities that you may unlock over the course of the game, like a charge jump.
That'd be cool.
That would be sweet, wouldn't it?
So even though Brian was clearly teasing, it definitely seems like a charge jump is going to be featured as an upgrade. And even though when I played the game, I personally didn't mind that there wasn't a charge jump, it's really nice to know that there is going to be one along with a sprint mechanic as well. And seeing how those two mechanics worked really well in Spider-Man 2 and even Spider-Man 3 as well as Web of Shadows, I'm really happy that they're going to do the same thing here in Spider-Man PS4. And I know for a fact adding the mechanic of a charge jump as well as the sprinting, parkouring, wall running, and web swinging is going to make the traversal in this game really awesome. And I know I just can't wait to master all these moves. So another point that was brought up is something that's really important, is that there are in fact replayable challenges in the game. This goes for certain challenges like the Inner Demon and Fisk bases, as well as doing the other side missions like chasing drones or defusing bombs. Now even though we still don't know for sure if there are going to be unlimited crimes in the game, it's nice to know that there will be lots of stuff to keep you playing the game once you finish the story. And speaking of the story, another point that was brought up is that the game's narrative takes place in between October to November. And speaking of the story, story, it was already confirmed back in April that this game takes place over a few weeks, but now we know specifically that the game takes place starting in October and ending in November. And if you guys saw my tour video of the Spider-Man PS4 booth at E3 2018, you would have seen these awesome little posters for Norman Osborn running for mayor specifically on November 6th. And I don't know about you, but I definitely think that the November 6th date in the game is going to be a very important part within the story. Now, another really interesting point that Ryan Smith brought up is that all the suit powers in the game aren't necessarily fully tailored to just combat. So for example, all the suits in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game had all the powers relating to combat aspects, but it seems like the suit powers in this game are also going to be relating to traversal as well. And seeing how fast Spider-Man can already go in his standard suit, I'm really curious to see how the other powers could make Spider-Man possibly go faster, because I know for a fact if that is the case, we're gonna have a really powerful Spider-Man on our hands. And speaking of the suit powers, in case you all didn't know, it is confirmed that the Web Blossom is not the advanced suit's power. Like Brian and Ryan said, you can mix and match the suit powers that you have with different suits that you unlock through the game, but the Web Blossom is not the default power for the advanced suit. And even though I personally love that specific suit power of the Web Blossom, I'm really curious to see what the advanced suit's power is. Now, the second to last really interesting point from Insomniac's livestream is that in the city there are tons of Daily Bugle newsstands that you can interact with to get more information about what's in the story. And Insomniac confirmed that as you progress through the story, the newspapers will in fact change. And it's really nice to see that attention to detail is something as small as the newspapers in the game. And I personally can't wait to read what the other headlines are going to be. And the final important point from the live stream is that the next time that we will most likely see more footage of Spider-Man PS4 is during San Diego Comic-Con. And if you guys don't know, San Diego Comic-Con starts on July 19th and ends on July 22nd. So make sure to mark your calendars for that next awesome event. But anyways, guys, that's all the information that I could find from Insomniac's live stream for Spider-Man PS4. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. Did you find anything that I may have missed, and what was your favorite part about the live stream? But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Stay spectacular, Spidey fans. Peace out.
Also here, we have your one of your favorite Swole Adam Corleone. That's what we call him, yeah.
Everyone knows on the stream.
Combat, everyone on the stream knows he's Swole Adam.